Good morning and welcome to the East Palestine Schools annual Veterans Day program. First, I would like to thank those members of our student body who worked diligently to make sure that this year's virtual program was a success. Second, I also want to thank our veterans for their participation in our programs each and every year. It is our distinct privilege to honor each of you, many of whom are esteemed alumni. But most importantly, I want to thank all of our veterans for their service and their sacrifice. It is on Veterans Day that I often reflect upon General MacArthur's remarks, duty, honor, country. These three hallowed words reverently dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, and what you will be. It is those ideals that have inspired the great American soldier, and it is our veterans and those currently serving our nation who meet this high standard. Thank you.
Alright, class, that about wraps up the segment of the Great War. Any questions?
Mr. Patterson, unrelated question, but what are we doing for our Veterans Day assembly?
Well, due to COVID, we're unable to have it this year. We don't want to accidentally get anybody sick.
Oh, that stinks. Well, you said that the end of the war was the reason for Veterans Day, didn't you?
Absolutely correct, Aiden. The end of the Great War, or World War I, was marked on the 11th day of the 11th hour of the 11th month. Thus, we began calling this day Armistice Day.
Mr. Patterson, another question. What actually is Armistice Day?
Well, Armistice Day was originally set aside to remember those that had fallen during World War I. But after World War II and the Korean War, President Eisenhower decided to change it to Veterans Day to remember all those that served, not just in World War I.
Mr. Patterson, another question. How many people celebrate Veterans Day?
Although we are the only ones that call it Veterans Day, many others around the world celebrate with us either on or next to November 11th, such as the United Kingdom, France, Australia, and even Canada.
So, did we start celebrating Veterans Day right after the war?
Well, we as America actually began celebrating Armistice Day on 1938, long after the war was over. Final question?
So, why do we have two Veterans Days?
Well, we have Veterans Day in the fall. You're probably thinking of Memorial Day, which is in the spring. The best way to tell the two apart would be Veterans Day is a day of celebration to thank our veterans for serving. Meanwhile, Memorial Day is a very somber and quiet day to remember those that have fallen.
Wow, I feel like I know more about Veterans Day than I ever did. Same here.
Oh, there's the bell. Have a good one, class.
Alright, see you tomorrow, Mr. Patterson.
In Flanders Field, the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row. That mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Field. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with who us die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Field. In Flanders Field is the most famous wartime poem. It was written in 1915 during the First World War. It was written by John McCrae. He served in the First World War at the age of 41. John's best friend served with him and was killed on May 2nd. His name was Alexis Hummer. John went to the burial service at Hummer's grave and wrote the few beginning lines in Flanders Field. After World War I, poppies were the only flower to grow on the rugged battlefield. The poppy is a symbolic red flower worn by Americans to honor the sacrifice that many men and women have given, and also to honor those that have lost their lives fighting for our great nation.
Veterans Day is a day that we honor those who have served. These men and women sacrificed their lives for our freedom and safety. They left their families and some never came home. Mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters. Love, honor, sacrifice. Those are the words that describe these wonderful people. We tip our hats to those people because they did what some people could or would never do. Thank you, veterans, for all that you do.
Veterans Day. Veterans Day is a day of respect and remembrance to those who serve our nation. A day to honor those who wear the stars and stripes and insignia of their branch. You are the brave who protect our land, water, and the sky. You are the reason the American flag remains in every classroom and every student can sing their pledge with pride. You are the reason America is a beacon of hope for those who seek a better life. This is what Veterans Day means to me.
Conflicts in American history from which veterans are still alive. For example, World War II. World War II lasted from 1941 to 45. World War II was the deadliest conflict in human history. 389,000 World War II veterans are still alive, and there were approximately 50 to 70 million fatalities, along with 100 million military personnel mobilized.
The Korean War took place from 1950 to 1953. 36,000 American soldiers died, along with 100,000 wounded. 2 million Korean veterans are still alive. 620 Korean soldiers died, and 1.6 million civilians died.
The Vietnam War lasted from 1962 to 1973. There were 58,220 deaths and 2,700,000 veterans fought. 610,000 Americans who served on the land are still alive, and 164,000 Americans who served at sea are still alive to this day.
Persian Gulf War. The Persian Gulf War took place in 1991. 100,000 soldiers were killed and there were 383 fatalities. 750,000 fought, including 54,000 U.S. personnel and smaller forces. There are 621,000 still alive today.
The war in Afghanistan lasted from 2001 to 2014. 600,000 soldiers fought and 12,000 still remain in Afghanistan. 2,372 soldiers died and 443,000 soldiers are still alive.
The war in Iraq, or Operation Iraqi Freedom, lasted from 2003 to 2011. 4,420 soldiers died and 31,752 soldiers were wounded. A total of 122,194 soldiers fought in the war.
Those are the many conflicts in American history from which veterans are still alive.
I pray every day. I know this could be a fight. At night I pray because you have to fight. I know you could die to keep us free. It makes me sad to cry because you're protecting me. Happy Veterans Day.
You are very brave for everything you do. Many lives have been saved. I want to say thank you. The flag I love is red, white, and blue. It flies above to honor you. Happy Veterans Day. We appreciate the fallen veterans, all that have served. We thank you. Some would drive a caravan, some can't even say what they do. You fought hard, you risked it all. We hold you in high regard. Thank you for answering our country's call. Happy Veterans Day.
I love Veterans Day. Veterans Day is soon. In the past, the pictures were black and gray. My pap was in the war and his birthday is in June. At night, I look at the moon. I am happy because my pap survived the war. I will see my pap soon. My pap is 94. Happy Veterans Day.
Veterans Day is almost here. All veterans have a great soul. You deserve lots of cheer. You will always complete your goal. Veterans fill our hearts with glee. You fight in the light of the moon. You travel by land and by sea. You will fight no matter August or June. Happy Veterans Day.
It is a great honor for me to have the opportunity to thank our local veterans. Today we celebrate and honor America's veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. Our veterans embody the strong characteristics that we strive to instill in our students as we help to mold our next generation of productive citizens. On behalf of the administration, school board, staff, and students of East Palestine City Schools, I want to thank you for your sacrifices that provide us with the many opportunities that we enjoy today, and for the great daily example that you provide for our students.
TAPS is unique to the United States, as it is the United States National Song of Remembrance. It is traditionally played on a bugle, trumpet, or other horn instrument, and it originated from an earlier bugle call called tattoo. It was composed by General Daniel Adams Butterfield during the Civil War, transitioned from a lights out call into an honoring call of the dead after every battle. The new name originates from the 3 drum taps that were used before the Civil War to honor the dead. The 24 notes have been used for hundreds of years during war, funerals, and days like today to honor the dead. Earliest uses for mandatory taps playing at military funerals traces back to 1891, and it was finally indicted as the National Song of Remembrance in 2012.
Taps is sounded as the final call on every military evening and on military installations and at military funerals. TAPS remembers those who weren't as fortunate while fighting for our country. It is important to remember those who fought for our country, and TAPS helps us step back and remember them. Cooper and I will now honor the dead by playing TAPS with the American Legion Color Guard. As a reminder, TAPS is traditionally followed by a moment of silence, so please do not applaud after TAPS is concluded.
Guard, and move. Port, home. Ready? Fire. Ready, fire.